What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm about to show you a quick and effective shoulder workout. Took me like 30, maybe 45 minutes, but I just turned my car off. Took me 30, 45 minutes. Shoulders are like really easy to burn out and like do a good job of it. So if you have me on Instagram, I've been sick the past few days, and last night I felt awful. Like, wasn't supposed to be a rest day yesterday, but I just took it, ate food, revamped my body, and then today I felt a lot better as the day went on because I got medicine in me, and so I decided to hit shoulders. I was going in like not expecting much. I was gonna do like bare minimum, just like move my body around because I've been sitting in bed for a while, but I actually felt pretty good. I'm still stuffed up, but you know, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. The most tragic thing happened the other day. So I was sick, and I'm literally all through here was just like solid, all stuffed up. So I couldn't breathe through my nose, so I could only breathe through my mouth. And like before you go to bed is when you get sicker. Maybe it's just me, but I always feel like a million times worse right before I'm about to go to bed. And like laying down isn't good for you. So I was trying to like fall asleep like this. It was awful. But before I fell asleep, I was trying to eat food because food. But my nose was stuffed up, and that's how you eat food. You like breathe through your nose as you're eating. But I couldn't breathe through my nose, and I would just like take a bite of something, and then I couldn't breathe. So I had to like breathe with my mouth open with my food in my mouth. I was like, I was tragic, but I still ate. So it's good. All right, enjoy the shoulder workout. What's up, guys? The beginning of this video is February 18th. It is now February 22nd. I tried to get this video up this morning. It wasn't working, and I thought maybe it's a sign I needed to re-record this voiceover dealio because it wasn't that great the first time. This is a quick and easy shoulder workout. By doing dynamic stretching when you warm up first will be the best results. Dynamic is just moving while stretching, and static stretching is just standing still. So a static stretch would be like just holding my arm across like this, and a dynamic stretch would be moving my arm like this. And you see me, I have a resistance band here. I go behind my head, I go up, I go all around and work all three parts of my shoulder because as I've talked about before, you have your front shoulder, your medial, and your rear delt. So you need to make sure all of those are in working function, because if you're going to be working shoulders, you'll be using some of those. And even on chest days, I still like to warm up some of my shoulders because I'll be using a lot of that front shoulder area if I'm doing chest. So then I also grab some weights and I do some rotation exercises, and I come up here and do rotating here. Then I just do some lightweight like side laterals, front raises, around the world, do it all. The point of a warm-up isn't to exhaust you, it is to warm up your muscles. And the reason why you do dynamic stretching instead of static stretching before a workout, we actually learned this in my personal trainer class from this girl named Kyra. Let's say you have a piece of gum, or you have a Gus yawning, and you take it out of the package and you pull it apart. Is it going to break or is it going to stretch? It's going to break because it's not warm yet. So a static stretch could cause it to break if you just went like that, because it's not warm and you could be snapping something or breaking something, not like a bone, but you could be messing up your tendons. So what would be easier is if you put the piece of gum in your mouth, you chewed it along, then you pulled it out, then you'd be able to stretch, and it would have elasticity in it. So dynamic stretching is so important to start a workout, and static stretching is important after a workout to help bring those muscles back to where they were, those muscles, joints, ligaments, all that, back to where they were before you started working out. So do dynamic stretching for every body part that you warm up. I started with, I'm going to put the workout in the description box, and I also send it out in my newsletter. If you want to be a part of my newsletter, comment your email below. But I started with overhead press, and I did this at the squat rack. I was that person, but it was needed because I wanted to be able to load it this way. If I'm doing overhead press with just like a pre-loaded barbell, I find it hard to like pull it up, then go, and then I can't just set it down. I have to bring it all the way back down. So one thing when you're doing overhead press is to squeeze your butt cheeks. I know I've talked about it before on leg day when you're coming out of a squat or any kind of movement, but when you're doing it during a shoulder exercise, it causes you to make sure you're not arching your back, you're not doing something you shouldn't be doing, because with overhead pressing while you're standing, it's really easy to arch your back or like use more of your back to push it up. But by squeezing your butt cheeks, you're kind of immobilizing that part of your back, so you're really focusing on your shoulders. You saw me take off my sweatshirt and tie it around my waist. That's another option if you're afraid of like squeezing your butt cheeks all the time. On leg day, on shoulder day, on anything, tie it around your waist so they can't see what's going on with your butt cheeks, even though I'm gonna know you're squeezing them. You see me doing more of a push press, and this will help again, making sure you're not hurting yourself and being able to put up weight that you wouldn't normally be put up. It's kind of cheating, kind of not, because I wanted to do this, so I tried to stay same, like just push it up the most I could. But when I couldn't, I did a little push press, used my lower body to help get the weight up, because I knew I could lift it, but it was just having a hard time going up. So if you need to do those last few sets, go ahead and do it. Make sure it's not like all your sets have it. Moving on, I did lateral raises. If you're ever wondering, side is lateral and then front is front. I know it can be confusing sometimes. So I did lateral raises. I normally do these sitting down because you want to use just your shoulders, and so often we use the rest of our body to help. So by sitting down, you're kind of forcing yourself to use your shoulders instead of the rest of your body and moving. Now I'm here trying to stay as still as possible and make sure I'm resetting before each time I bring up my my lateral raise or whatever, so that I am again focusing on my shoulder. If you feel, here it is. I did some one-armed ones. So even though I'm using two different dumbbells, I could still be using one side more than the other, and sometimes I can feel it in one side more than the other. So by doing one armed at the end or at the beginning, then I can really focus on using that mind muscle connection and using my left shoulder to bring it up, or my right shoulder. Next, I did these rear delt flies by laying on an incline bench, and your rear delts you can either work on back day or shoulder day. It gets confusing. I mix it up, it depends on the day. I did them on shoulders today, and there's multiple rear delt exercises, but make sure you're really focusing on the rear delt and not just moving your arms up haphazardly. Next, I did one arm upright rows with a 30-pound dumbbell. The point of these, again, I've been working on doing compound movements at the beginning and then switching over to unilateral movements, so one arm movements, one legged movements, one something movements, to really focus on my muscles. Instead of just pushing weight or pushing whatever I can, focus on making sure that my muscles are balanced, that one side isn't weaker or stronger than the other side, and making sure I'm feeling that muscle working in every single one of my exercises. So after upright rows, I did something called a W press. I don't know if this is the best angle, but it was getting kind of crowded and I didn't want to like take up all the space. But you're holding the dumbbells. I'm using 15-pound dumbbells because it was hard, and you're in a W right here, if you can see in my hands, and you're pushing out like this. Instead of pushing like up, you're pushing out like a W. So I did those. Again, the workout and what I did for everything will be in the description box. And then I did some more rear delt flies with the cables, and this really helps. I try to keep my elbow bent and focus on bringing back just that rear delt instead of like extending my arm and trying to do all funky things. And again, I switch over to one arm at the end to really get that last burn. And sometimes one arm movements are easier than both arms, because like if you're doing a bilateral movement and your form is breaking down, it could be because one muscle can't support it while the other one can. So if you do unilateral movements, then you can support it and do proper form. So the last thing I did was a burnout with a reverse grip front raise, and I used a 20-pound weight, and it sped up pretty fast because I did it for like 2 or 3 minutes. I did it the length of a song, and then I go to normal speed so you can see what speed I'm doing it at, and you can see my face of pain. But I like to burn out with something, and I've talked about it before, but intensity. So many times we do burnout sets or sets at the end and we don't actually go till failure. Now it's not important, it's not necessarily like you shouldn't always go till failure. That's not always the point. But if you're doing a burnout failure set, go till failure. Like don't just stop short of failure or stop when it's hard. That's not failure. Go until mechanical failure. Like you literally cannot grip it anymore. Like I could no longer grip that bar anymore, and my shoulders could not lift it one more time. So that's the shoulder workout. Here's my chipotle. Enjoy the rest of the video. Love you guys. What's up, guys? I thought I'd show you what I get just for gigs. So I got a bowl. I like burritos. I'm not anti-burrito, but I was feeling a bowl and you get like more food. So here's my bowl. I'm gonna tell you what I got. I'm gonna show you how to track it in MyFitnessPal. Oh my gosh, that's glorious AF. Look at that. Thumbnail. What I get is a burrito bowl with brown rice and fajita vegetables, half steak, half chicken, all the salsas because salsa, and then I get sour cream on the side, and then I got chips. I don't have enough fats for guac today. Yes, I'm tracking this all, and that's that. So if you go to the Chipotle, there's a nutrition calculator. And so you just go through, click what you added, and you're good to go. And so it'll tell you how many calories it is and all this stuff. So you have all this information, screenshot it, remember it, whatever. Then if you go to MyFitnessPal and you go to, I already have it tracked, but I'll show you guys because I'm nice like that. So I have a burrito bowl, the whole bowl, and then half a bag of chips because I'm only gonna eat half of them. Is the Chipotle website. If you go to MyFitnessPal, create a food, and then say Chipotle, and then you can either say burrito bowl, burrito like with chips or something. If you know you're adding chips, I just like to add the chips separately. Or why can't I spell? Bowl. One bowl and one serving. Because I already have it. Then you can put in your calories, the carbs, protein, fat, and add anything else. I add in the vitamins. I add in the sodium because it can be high. And I also add in the fiber because it has like 8 grams of fiber. Where's fiber? Dietary fiber. So you add all that in and you'll be right here, burrito bowl, and it'll tell me it's 61 carbs, 14.5 fat, 40 protein. So I have that tracked in meal 2 along with half a bag of chips. I also need to track the sour cream. Now the reason I got it on the side is not like a trying to be healthy thing. It's they put way too much sour cream on, and your girl loves sour cream, but sometimes I do not need my food swimming in it, so I get it on the side and then I can just like pour some in or put some on a fork. You know how people do salad dressing where you like go like this and then eat it. It depends. But I put it all in here, mix it up, and then I'll eat half the bag of chips. That's what I get. That's how you track it. You're welcome. That was so hard. That's also how I track my alcohol. Yes, I do drink alcohol. It's the same way I showed you how you put in food for a burrito. So I have already talked about it, but I borrow from my carbs and fat, mostly carbs because I have so many of them and I like fats are sacred. But you make your own food, so it's just under there. It's like Sue's drink. This guy, man, Gus. He's so cute. It's under there, Sue's drink, and like I take the wine, so it's like 110, 115 calories, divide it by 4, and so it's like 25 carbs, and that's how I track my alcohol as well. I think this is crooked. I don't know.